Thank you, President Lustal. We are privileged to have some students here tonight from Parkview Elementary, and they are going to present to us on one of their STEM labs. So I would like to invite up Principal Heather Cifuentes to introduce her students and staff for this project.
So the outstanding aquanaut, the people who go into the sea, is a scientist, a woman scientist from Florida State University. So you guys might have a really bright future, right? All right.
Thank you to our students. Thank you guys so much. It's tough talking to this many people, and thank you to our teachers and staff for being here and providing this opportunity for our kids. Awesome job. Thank you. So I'm going to go now into the superintendent's report. And it's no news to anybody here that we live in a wonderful community that is incredibly supportive of education. And the generosity that is present from our local businesses never ceases to astound me. So tonight, we're going to honor some local organizations and some local businesses that have been incredibly supportive of Chico Unified, and one that has been a long-term supporter, and some others that annually help us get ready for back to school. So I'd like to invite Gary Lustal down for a moment to help me with this. So Mom's Restaurant has been for 7 years, and actually even prior to that, supporting Chico schools by giving back a percentage of the meals that they sell back to our schools. And they have now reached over $100,000 that they have donated to Chico schools. So I would like to invite up Jack and Darian Sterling, the owners of Mom's. I admire this lady so much because obviously they own very successful businesses, but when you go into Mom's, she's not the one greeting people, she's busting the tables. And she lets the waiters and waitresses get those tips and make the connection. So a real hardworking model. They have something for us, and we have something for them. So I'll let Gary first. We have a plaque thanking them for their generosity, which we hope they put on their wall next to all of the pictures that they have of the students in the school. And I think they have something for you, Gary. And I'm going to give them an opportunity to just talk a little bit about why this started and why they give back to our school. So, Jack,
We have a real destination, other than just being community members. We're the proud parents of twins, now 12-year-olds, soon to be 13-year-olds. So we're part of the system. We participate in all of this, and education means the world to us, means the world to our young daughters that are really trying to find their way. And it's such a national tie-in. Moms
once again, a big, oh, sorry.
no, I
Once again, big thank you to Jack and Darian Sterling. But it doesn't stop there. I'd like to ask Joanne Parsley to step to the podium, and we have a presentation for Deer Creek Broadcasting in Chico Mall, if they could also come up to the podium, representatives from Deer Creek Broadcasting and Chico Mall.
Well, we continue to be so lucky to live in this community. We're recognizing two different groups this afternoon or this evening that brought supplies to our schools. The first group is from Chico Mall and Deer Creek Broadcasting.
I'm Jamie Perry, the DSM. Lynette Myers, Marketing Manager for Chico Mall. Natasha Shelton, General Manager, Chico Mall.
So they brought a plethora of items, and our principals came into the large conference room and filled up boxes and boxes of things to take back to their students, all kinds of supplies. They are so appreciated. They're kind of the above and beyond supplies. And I think they were surrounded by tons of very grateful administrators. It was a really fun day.
And then finally, I'd like to invite the representatives from Tri-Counties Bank.
Well, this is our second group that brought supplies to our office, and after I have them introduce themselves, I'd like to tell you a little something about that.
Carly Bedridge. Ripstick Ireland. Bandy Hool.
So they brought supplies, and we had them in our office, and a family came in soon afterwards that they were kind of late registering, and a lot of things were going on, and they had 3 children. And because the supplies were right there in our office, we said, well, hey, let's let us help you out with the supplies that you brought. And I just have chills that it was so awesome. The 3 siblings, so appreciative, ate of it, and it was so thrilling. And that's what happens out on the sites, but we don't always get to see that. So thank you very much. It was really, really awesome.
So this is just one small evening of recognition for the hundreds and thousands of things that people within the Chico community do for our kids and our schools every single day. So once again, thank you, and we won't make you stay for the whole board meeting. We'll let you go ahead and sneak out, but please know how much we appreciate all you do. Thank you. All right. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. We will now move to announcements. Do we have any announcements to be made?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
Just as a reminder, with Measure E and with Measure K, we had a promise to our taxpayers, and the county treasury or county auditor's office determines the tax rate, and they send us a letter. So just for the board's information, for the previous bond sales that made up Measure E, the total amount is coming in at $24.68 per $100,000 of assessed value. And remember, the promise was not to exceed $45.50. So we're coming substantially under that promise. And for our first series of Measure K sales, the promise was under $60 per 100,000, and the current calculation is $56.98. So we're maintaining the promise to our taxpayers, coming in quite a bit less than that, and we are seeing assessed valuation of property in our county district go up, which helps.
Okay, do we have any items from the floor? It's the time if somebody, come on up, state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Okay, I don't, any other items from the floor? Okay, seeing none, we will move to the consent calendar.
President Listal, I need to pull item 9.1.1.
I need to pull 9.3.3.
I move that we approve the remainder of the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Any input from the audience? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote. All those in favor?
Griffin, aye.
Hovey, aye.
Lustal, aye.
Kaiser, aye. Robinson, aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Now we'll move to 9.1.1.
Okay. I pulled this item because it was a combination of two meeting minutes, and I was not in attendance at the September 6th meeting, so I cannot vote on that. I would like to separate those and move for approval of 9.1.1, the regular session minutes from August 16th, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any input from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. 9.3.3.
9.3.3 is a contract with Chico State for the use of their stadium. And we've already, in fact, Chico High has already, in fact, played their first game this past Friday there. This has been at times a difficult agreement to have with the university, but this has been greatly facilitated by the new administrators. And so given the fact that we are working on Chico High's new stadium, but the approval from DSA didn't come until 2 weeks ago, correct? I just want the community to know that we greatly appreciate Chico State's arrangement with us, but it doesn't mean we aren't moving ahead on the stadium. We are. Thank you. So with that, I ask for approval of 9.3.3.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, any input from the audience? I see none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0.
Excuse me, President Lustal, unless I missed it, I think we still need to vote on 9.1.1, the other,
Special meeting.
Right.
the minutes from the special board meeting.
Yeah. I move that we approve the minutes for the September 6th, 2017 special meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? I just have some discussion then. What did we approve with 9.1.1?
That Linda was there.
So we just said that she was there and now we need to approve it.
No, she can't vote on.
She couldn't vote on the one that she was not present for.
Okay, so she's abstaining now on this vote.
Correct.
Thank you. She tried to tell me, but I pointed back to her and said, no. Okay, then, we have a second, and we have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
And a motion. Any input from the audience? I see none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And an abstain. 4 and an abstain. Okay. So we will now move to 10.1.1. Mr. Bohannon.
I move the passing of 10.1.1.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? I see none. Any input from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes 5-0. Yeah, do we need a roll call after an abstention? I think we do. Okay, let's do it. So let's revote. Roll call, please.
Griffin, aye.
Hovey, aye.
Lustal, aye. Okay, that's good. It still came out 5-0. So we now move on to, motion passes. 10.2. Point 1. Thank you.
Coming for you again tonight, the Measure K Charter Facility Committee has met, and they have reviewed and approved two projects to come forward to you. So I'm bringing them forward tonight. The first one is for Sherwood Montessori School. They wish to purchase a portable classroom building and put it on their property adjacent to the Chapman Elementary School site. This is a property that falls in the county right now, and they requested planning funds to do some investigation on what type of improvements need to occur at the site in the form of like curbs, gutters, sidewalks, that sort of thing, as well as architectural planning. The second project is we have brought to you a budget number before for Chico Country Day School to add solar panels to the top of their gymnasium roof. The gymnasium was designed and constructed with this in mind a couple of years ago. However, when they did the project, they came in a little higher than the budget number that you had previously approved, so we're bringing that back to you tonight. The district facilities recommends your approval of both of these items.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to know a little bit more about the Sherwood project. I noticed that that's got the address on Cleveland Avenue. So is that the building that, there's a building that's there that is like an old house that's kind of off to the side? So do we own that, or does Sherwood own that, or how?
The district does not own that. It was offered by the county for $1, and Sherwood purchased it.
Mhm.
Portable building, purchase of a portable building to put on that site can be removed in the future and remain property of the district with the Measure K funds. It's our strong belief that improvements to that site with curb, gutter, and sidewalk is an improvement to the Chapman Elementary School site, creating safe travel for students in and out of that neighborhood.
Mhm.
So we thought that that was a very good use of development.
Mhm. So what is something going to happen to that old building that's sitting there?
I believe it's going to stay in place. They're utilizing that. They've actually fixed it up and cleaned up that site quite a bit.
Michelle, do you want to come up so we can ask you a few questions? Thanks. Thanks. So what is your vision for use of that whole site? Is it for, did I see it was for something really unique and interesting?
Science lab and maker space.
Okay, yeah.
And we're able to get another portable building depending on if we can afford it. And
Mhm.
the vision for that would be a music and art studio.
Okay, okay, I knew it sounded really interesting and great. So these dollars are going to go towards seeing what's possible on that site or seeing what's necessary on that site, and then, but from what you said, Julie, if they do these things, then, and if anything happens to Sherwood, that reverts back to the district. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because I know that was part of the deal, is anything that's capital improvements, that's how it worked. Okay, that's great. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I think I'd follow up on that clarification. The, the building that's the portable would go back to us, but the house would still belong to Sherwood. So the argument is that the physical improvements to gutters and curbs would benefit both schools. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I do have a question. So just two things here. It says planning for new portable on our list here, but that's also for the $25,000. Does that include the portable also? No, it's just planning. Okay, and then, as far as with our building going on at Shasta, when we are done there, are we going to have available portables that might be suitable for them, or is that something that we wouldn't use?
I don't think the timing will work out, and the district will reserve any available portables for future interim housing as we march through our master plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I do have a question. In the materials that we received, I didn't see who you were going to be hiring to do the planning work. Is there a firm, or, how is this planning going to be secured?
We're looking at Karen Chambers, so she's the architect.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're have enough information now. We have a motion to move forward.
I move the pass of of 10.2.1.
I'll second.
Which contains two separate measures.
Okay, I heard a motion and a second.
Yes.
Do we have any other discussion? Eileen?
Thank you. Since these are, we are approving expenditure of funds for two different entities within the charter school designation, should we separate this action, or is it okay to approve both?
I don't think we've done so in the past.
Okay,
Yeah, we've done them all.
okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Anything from the audience? I see none. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. 10.2.2.
I just wanted to mention real quick that you also have the updated spreadsheet of all of the allocations. Thank you.
Is that these over here? Multi-year budget. That's there, okay. It's an attachment.
Does that mean they took it away for the 17, 18? I mean, the 18, 19, I'm sorry. Oh, they did, okay.
But that's not to preclude the governor, when he presents his original projection in January, to say that there will be additional ones.
Okay, okay, but this is just a year early at this point. Okay.
While that's happening, we're not able to follow in the front to know where you are. Yeah, where's our IT guy?
There's blue.
Yeah. Just helps us to know where you are. There he is. But you can keep going, Kevin.
Okay, I'll just point out what slide number we're on. I think you have hard copies, correct?
Just as long as we know where you are.
Okay, so we are currently on slide 5.
Okay.
Titled the updated position control. So we've talked about this, and you understand one of the largest parts of our budget is our position control. When we provided you the original budget, that was a snapshot in time back in May.
Before you move on to page 6, Kevin, may I ask a question about the 6/5 teaching positions? Approximately how many are there, and what kind of dollar amount is attributed to that? Because you said it was a rather large number.
What we found last year is we had quite a few 6/5 positions because we had more enrollment that showed up. And what we
Right.
expected, just a reminder, last year was one of the first years we saw increased enrollment. So
Kevin? Linda had my question, but my question, you gave the dollar amount, but how many positions are we talking about, just roughly?
Well, I think last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Judith, just at Marsh Junior High, we have 11 six-fifth positions here. And some of that's from a budgetary standpoint is nice because we just add that one additional position to
Right.
cover. But we also acknowledge that is tough on teachers.
That was my point, was I wondered, how many teachers are we asking this of? Because you're right, that's more than a full load.
Correct. And what you saw this year through our recruiting, and ultimately through our new enrollments, we have hired more staff, and we have less six-fifth positions. Now, we do have, specifically at our secondary, our two high schools, or three high schools, we have some six-fifth positions because we need the flexibility at the semester to possibly reduce those down. We do have
Yeah.
students that leave, either graduate or attend therapy or go to another alternative setting. So it's nice to have that flexibility. So we'll always have some six-fifths, but having 11 is just too many on the staff, we think.
So, but these are voluntarily assumed. Thank you.
Correct. It's not something we force upon them. We ultimately have mutual agreement to do that.
And it does vary greatly by the subject matter. There are some subject matters that are more conducive to a 6/5, and there are others where it really is tough on a teacher to do that. For example, in English, if you're adding that many additional papers to grade, that's a big challenge. But there are teachers who do really enjoy doing the 6/5. So nobody is ever forced to do it, and it does provide greater flexibility in our staffing.
So one of the other things we note is the change in some of the assumptions of the local control fund enrollment. So not only enrollment has certainly an impact, but also the change from where we were originally budgeted compared to ultimately the state adopted budget. We just wanted to point out the gap funding, because remember, we were continuing to implement the local control fund plan. So what I attempted to do here, you'll have to tell me if I was successful or not, but was to really show that for 17-18, Department of Finance, the number we use for Unified and school services, all three, we all agree what the number is. It's all, that original budget was 7%, and now after the state budget adopted, it came in at 43.15. But no difference in what that number is, we all agree. But in our multi-year projection going into next year, we have historically seen differences between school services, which we acknowledge is very conservative, and Department of Finance, which ultimately over time has been more accurate. However, we did see last year that the Department of Finance number was off quite a bit, and it did impact our budget substantially, over $2 million. So we are taking the path, we communicated that to you previously, we're averaging the school services estimate and the Department of Finance estimate. So we're showing you kind of the change in what we had for original budget, and then in the 45-day, what has happened. There's actually quite a bit of consistency, but the Department of Finance number has dropped for 18-19, it went from 71.53 down to 66.12. You can see in 19-20, they went from 73.51 down to 64.92. Less of a variation for school services. So I still think it's the appropriate thing at this point to go through an averaging. I think that is the decision that we're asking of the original language.
Question? Kevin, during the process of negotiations, there was discussion about whether to use school services or Department of Finance. Have we had similar discussions regarding this averaging issue, or are we not there yet?
We have not since the last time. We agree there is some disagreement. I think from maybe the union's perspective, the Department of Finance number has been more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So this was something that had puzzled me when I looked at this grade by grade context, because the big dip happened in seventh grade, and I didn't know if anyone had any rationale about why, because it's no longer the first secondary grade, now it's sixth grade, and I just was really puzzled. So we have any conjectures about why that's where our drops show up?
I think there's work to be done here still, and I think
So not to be the person who throws water or fire on the numbers, but my question is, we are already in the county, at least, and the League of Women Voters did a major forum on this on Saturday, in our third natural disaster emergency status declared. And we've already had to modify our attendance, which was allowed for the flood issue. But when we look at Florida and we look at Houston, and we look at the federal budget, which is basically now empty in terms of doing this, I just wondered, have we ever thought about an emergency fund or some way in which we would put some money aside in case we too got hit by something that would force us to close school for, you know, a number of days, force kids out of their homes. It just seems to me that, and I know this is not for right now, I'm not putting you on the spot for right now, but I think when we look at this and we're making all these projections about attendance, and yet the national picture has been dramatic and, you know, underfunded dramatically. And so it would seem that that might be something that we think about as a category of funds that I don't think we've had to deal with up until this point, you know. And if you look at the work that they're doing around the Oroville Dam situation, certainly that's still a potential. But certainly the fires that have been going on are also very real. So it just, I think this is the normal thing that we ought to do, but I also think that if we look at the national picture and the state thing, we ought to start thinking of some kind of a disaster fund that we might have some money set aside.
Kevin? Uh, More questions. One of the things that was interesting to me was that not only have the K-12 population within Chico Unified increased, but we haven't seen a decrease in our charter school population. So the net effect is our student population within Chico Unified is increasing across the board. It mirrors what the Realtor migration projections that we had from Ms. King and Associates projected that this was what was going to be happening. So when we do that, where did they come from, where did they go analysis of our attendance, that would be something that I would be interested in making sure that you get to the board. Kevin, sorry, another question. On the expenses, the increase in certificated salaries we've connected with position control and the classified salaries, do these numbers include the any salary increases or lack thereof for either group? Or is it actual expenses according to what's currently in place contractually?
Kevin, so it was 8.8, 9.5, and 10.2. Is that right? Am I reading that right then? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I will say, Marie was gonna walk through all that with you, and I couldn't be stopped. So I apologize, because she would have done a more effective job than I did. But she doesn't have to speak. So I'm just gonna sum this up and kind of end it, but, again, the big change was our enrollment, and that continues in our odd years as well, into 18, 19, and 19, 20. Something we certainly have to watch, the importance will be played on it, and we'll take a look at how that goes over time. One-time money, we have it back. As Board Member Robinson mentioned, their negotiations are not settled for 17, 18. So if we see a positive change in fund balance, the program that we have in place is great, but we will have some compensation increases. And frankly, 1% is about $1 million for all of our bargaining units across the board. We will be presenting our unaudited actuals. That's a lot of the hard work that Marie and Jacqueline have been working on. I said October. Hopefully that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Not making promises that they can't keep.
Oh,
And then we will be briefing for the board workshop, which basically is budget reduction, which when you look at where we were originally, is certainly very realistic and probably a more imperative conversation to have. We still think it's a conversation to have in relation to not having any negotiated settlements in the out years. So that will still be our plan to bring that back to you, but maybe not the urgency that we were seeing just a few months ago. And then ultimately, you will see it first in our budget, all the way through the standardized accounting code structure software in December. And that'll have a whole new position control, new updates of where our enrollment DDA ultimately equals are planned.
good.
Any questions?
With the, excuse me, thank you, Kevin. With the increase in enrollment, have you been talking with Ed Services and, do we have issues at school sites where there's not room? I mean, are we having to displace neighborhood children? Do we need to take a more immediate assessment of housing and boundaries because of the increase, or are we still okay for another go-round or two?
I think there's some conversations to be had because, looking at how we handle our facility master plan, we chose to bring our sixth graders over into our junior highs, which freed up space for elementaries. But since then, we've added TK,
Yeah.
some preschool programs, so we've added quite a bit back. Now, we have tools at our disposal, we have property that can shop. There's certainly probably a conversation to be had regarding boundaries as well. So I think at some point we'll want to have that conversation, certainly working with our ed service folks. But it is a conversation I think that you will see as a board happening soon.
It's on my radar.
Gary? Oh, I just wanted to thank Jacqueline and Marie and Kevin for presenting this so clearly. It was very clear and easy to follow, so thank you very much.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move now to item 10.2.3, and I think that Mr. Cooper and Mr. German are here to tell us that there was no summer vacation for a lot of people.
this year, trying to do as much of that in-house as we possibly can. But I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to make these improvements.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So I want to absolutely commend you guys dramatically. I mean, you do make a huge difference, and this was the hottest summer we have ever had on record. And so the fact that you guys are out there working in such tremendous, difficult conditions is really praiseworthy. I have a parent, though, who slammed me on one thing, so I'm just passing it on, not pointing the finger, and it's the bathrooms at Rosedale. So
We'll put that on our.
thank you. I have to tell the parent
Yeah,
that
it's, as we go around and we try to make decisions on how we are allocating our funds and our resources, what we try to do is find the things that are the biggest problems or put the biggest hindrance to our students. So those are things that, bathroom remodeling and projects, we did a lot of work at Rosedale. We will definitely add that to our to-do list.
Eric, just a minor thing. Make sure that you include guys and gals in your overtures for the hard work and stuff, because
Our crew
we-
does an amazing job. So those, all our people across the board, they are absolutely amazing.
they are. They are.
We cannot thank them enough or compliment them enough, so thank you for pointing that out.
Eric, do we have an ETA on that bus, the electric one?
You know, I do not have that information, but, I don't know, Kevin, I have that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the electric bus. We're expecting delivery of the 7 other buses, though, in January.
Yeah, the Bluebird, this is Bluebird Company, they invited John and the mechanic down just to see their factory, the process for putting those buses together. So it's a educational kind of fun trip for John to see this is where money's going, these are the people that are building these buses. And for a mechanic to say he was on the line and actually put a wrench on a bus that we're going to be buying, so. Yeah, and Bluebird paid for this trip, yeah, they sent the guys out there to do this.
I just wanted to mention that I remember years ago when we were in the budget crisis, anywhere from 2008 through fairly recently, and we couldn't even do that routine maintenance. And I just remember seeing pictures of the schools and the carpets and the walls, and it was just so disheartening. And you and your team with Dusty and the rest of the staff have done such a remarkable job improving the schools. They look so great now, so much better than they ever have in the past. So thank you very, very much for all of your hard work. And please convey that to the staff too. Yeah, and it's just remarkable.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now move to item 10.2.4.
So at the beginning of this school year, we transferred the Burn JAG program over to Butte County Office of Education. There were 2 vans that were purchased out of those grant dollars in prior years. With depreciation, the current value of those are 0. So we would like to, frankly, we wanted to get those vans to Butte County Office of Education. However, the education code and our administrative reg would not allow us to do that. However, our administrative reg does have the ability of the board to sell to another government agency in the amount or lease amount that you establish. So frankly, I would recommend that the board approve the sale of 2 vans for $1 each to Butte County Office of Education, pending approval by the superintendent of the county of schools.
Second.
Did we have?
Uh,
I'd like to move to approve the sale of the vans, item 10.2.4.
Okay. All right, I think we have a motion, and I know we have a second. So, so do we have any discussion? See none, any from the audience? Anybody want to bid $2? Just kidding. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank goodness they're gone.
Okay, we'll move down to, I think, Mr. Hanlon on 10.3.1.
Okay, so this is relatively brief. As you recall, last month I brought to you a list of names where we made some credential exceptions, and we inadvertently left a name off. So this is a little bit of cleanup. It's a 6th grade teacher that is teaching English with a multiple subjects credential. And so I'm bringing the resolution 1396-17 before the board for approval.
Since this is a friend of mine, do I need to recuse myself or not? Okay, good, thanks.
I move approval of 10.3.1.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? I see none. Any from the audience? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Passes 5-0. Items from the floor. Do we have any other items from the floor tonight? I don't see any, so we'll move on from any other announcements. Seeing none. Adjournment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming.